You're watching Every Day's a Saturday, USCC veteran. Let's go, baby. And here's your host, Brian. And what's going on, friends and family? Thank you guys so much for joining me on another great day, another great interview. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope 2025 is treating you well. And dang, man, we're already more than halfway through 2025. It's going by super fast. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for all of you that have continued to listen to the show, share it, like it, all that great stuff. You guys have really helped the show have a good trajectory, and we've made 2 top 100 best veteran podcast lists, and that's outstanding to be a part of such an astounding group of people. And what a journey it's been getting to meet all these amazing human beings and all these great people out there doing some amazing things. And my next guest is got a pretty unique story out there. He's not a veteran, but he is out there supporting our veterans. He is a comedian. He also is a country music recording artist, and all of his concerts are fundraisers for the VFWs, American Legions, Marine Corps leagues, and the AMVETS is just recently. And he is sorry about that. I'm all tripping over my words over here. Mike's album and his merch sales benefits the Stop Soldier Suicide Organization. And I'm excited to have him on and tell us his story and what he's got going on. We got Kountry Mike. What's going on, man?
Hey, Brian. How you doing? Thanks for having me on the show, man. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. As you can see, I'm just fumbling and bumbling already, and sometimes I do that. Show my marine human side every once in a while.
Yeah.
But hey, man, I'm excited to have you on and get to hear your story. Yours is pretty unique. You're out there, kind of being selfless with yourself and allowing your hard work and dedication to go towards stopping soldier suicide, which is near and dear to our hearts because as we know, there's a number out there. They say 22 a day, and sometimes that number is far greater than that. And one is too many, right? And so I'm more than appreciative for anybody that is careless and takes the time out to, focus on a cause. And it's a big cause. In just in our country alone, suicide is a big problem.
For sure.
It's becoming more of a big problem as we go further along. The numbers keep rising, unfortunately. So, anything that we can do to help it, to suppress it, or maybe if we can get our hands on one person at least, we can start bringing these numbers down. But Mike, I appreciate you, man, and what you got going on. Let's get to know more about you, where you grew up, kind of tell us, where life took you and where you are today.
Sure. So I grew up in Watertown, New York, which is basically the backyard of Fort Drum, 10th Mountain Division. And so I grew up, my dad was a veteran. My brother was a veteran. And then my 3 brother-in-laws, they're all veterans in all the different armed forces. One veteran is one brother-in-law is a Marine Corps veteran. One is Army 82nd Airborne. That's actually my brother-in-law that my sister met in Watertown at Fort Drum. And my brother-in-law, my other one is he was initially Air Force, and then he went into the Navy as well. And so my dad was Army. He was an MP in the Army. My brother was Air Force. So I grew up around having a huge respect for military. I mean, just a huge respect. And anytime you saw a veteran or a troop, thank you for your service. And that still continues on today. So my parents gave me a great understanding about the whole veteran community. I was going to go in, Brian. I was actually going to go in. I can't remember if I was 18 or 19, but one of the things was, this is my story, right? So I grew up on the worst street in my city, and my friends, I mean, we were all just derelicts, and So one guy was like, "Hey," he goes, "we should all join the army." So we go and see the army recruiter, and we take the ASVAB test. And so there's one section. I don't know if you remember the ASVAB test, Brian, but like there's one section on that test. And my brother-in-law was like, "Be very careful. It's 100 math questions, but they're easy questions. Okay, 8 minus 3, 5 times 6. Don't mix up the symbol. Okay, just take your time, go through it. There's 100 questions. Should take you like a second per one, but." So I buzz through it. I'm checking through and make sure, everything is okay. You got 3 minutes to do this. And I'm looking around and my friends are kind of like, and I'm like, oh my God, they don't know me. They didn't major in math, okay, in high school, right? So I said, if they start taking their shoes off, counting fingers and toes, we're going to be in trouble. So after the test, the guy goes,
who use calculators,
Yeah, so like my friends, there's like 5 of them before me. He goes, "You failed, you failed, you failed, you failed, you failed. Mike, you passed. You did really well. You qualify for all 300 jobs the Army has to offer." And so now we go from like, let's join the Army together, which is kind of like Stripes back then, right? The movie Stripes, to like, it's me. So talked to the recruiter. They had the 4-year college program. I wanted to go to the Ohio State University. My brother-in-law was stationed in Wright Pat in Dayton. I thought it's close. But then took the physical, and then I'm getting ready to be sworn in. And the guy says, "Do you want to see your jobs?" I said, "Yeah." So the first job that I picked was medical specialist. And, my mom thought I would make a nice doctor, right? So I went, I'm sitting down watching the movie, and it was like, it looked like Saving Private Ryan, but it made Saving Private Ryan look like Boys Town. Okay. I don't know what this movie was or whatever, but it was like graphic. And so it shows 2 guys carrying a guy on a stretcher. They run into the picture and they run out of the picture. So I look over this guy. He's got like a tear running down his cheek, right? And he's kind of like a Hulk Hogan dude. He's like, "I love this movie, brother." And I'm like, I said, "Sir, can I ask you where I am in this picture? Hopefully I'm not the guy in the stretcher." He goes, "You're one of the guys carrying the guy in the stretcher, brother." And I'm like, "Can I see my other job, which is telecommunications specialist," right? And so, I'm thinking of War Games and that, that movie, right? So I'm thinking like a supercomputer, and I'm like, it's the same movie. It pans around to a guy behind a tree on a walkie-talkie. Probably get me the heck out of here. And I look over, he's got like another tear running down his cheek, and he's like, "I love this movie too, brother." And I said, "Listen, I'm a pretty smart guy." I said, let me take this one. I'm the guy behind the tree. I said, "Just take me home, man." I think I was like 18 or 19 years old. I'm like, I don't want to do this, right?
I
don't
would
think they show
love to see those movies today.
They just swear you in.
Oh, we lost. All right, we're back. We had a little bit of some technical difficulties. All right, Mike. Sorry, man.
Yeah, so I don't think they show those movies anymore. They just swear you in. They just send you off to basic.
I would love to see one of those movies today, because this sounds like one, like so like a goofy movie. Like, oh, for your job, we got this video, and it, like you said, man, pans around to a guy behind a tree.
Telecommunications specialist. It's like, yeah, when was this from? Like World War II? What the heck is this? But it's strange. So I have a huge respect, man. That's why, like, I wrote a song called Superheroes, and one of the lines in there says, "The bravest of the brave." Listen, firefighters, super brave, right? Police officers, brave. But the bravest of the brave are the people that go in, they talk to the recruiter, go through the process, they sign their name on that line, and they literally put their life on the line. So they are the bravest of the brave. I mean, there's no other way around it. You're not going to convince me otherwise. So,
yeah, and it's it is a huge commitment that you make at a young age, and when you go to sign up, you
Sure.
never know what's going to happen within those 4 years. Like for myself, when I signed up, it was the year 2000. It was peacetime. Nothing had happened in a while.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting anything. Then boom, 2001 hit. And then we would expect that after 9/11 hit that, oh shit, we're going to be zipped out of here. It wasn't until 2 years later till we got deployed over to Iraq. So, but yeah, it's a major commitment that I think that a lot of people don't understand. You don't know what you're really getting yourself into. You're at such a young age too. It's crazy. So did you now, you went to high school, all that. Did you end up going to college? Did you end up going to school after like when you decided, nah, I don't want to do this no more? Or
I didn't go to college until I was 30 years old. I started part-time. I didn't go to college. After high school, man, I had two things I wanted to do, either be a professional tennis player or a rock star. Okay. I had no intentions, or I had no want to go to college. I just didn't want to do that. And I didn't even know how I would have afforded it. And plus I didn't get good grades in high school. I was like the class clown in high school. I barely passed high school, so I'm like, what college is going to accept me?
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, college is, if you're already not liking, school in general, college isn't going to be for you right off rip. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I think I decided to go into the Marine Corps, because I was like, there's no way I can go to college and focus. In high school, all my focus was trying to get the hell out of school, or where's the next party at? So I was like, there's no way that if my next choice was to go into college, that I'm going to make something out of myself. So I had to force myself to go do the discipline route.
Right, exactly.
So what got you into music and stuff, man? And
plus I was never a morning person either.
What's that? Oh, morning person.
I was never a morning person, right? My dad literally had to call me from work to try to get me up for school. And then I would fall back asleep, and then I'd have all these excuses of why I didn't go to school. And then he wised up a little bit. He goes, let me hear your feet hit the floor before I get off the phone. So I would turn over at the side of the bed. My feet would hit the floor. And he was like, all right. Then he'd hang up, and I'd go back to bed again. He said, listen, let me hear your feet hit the floor. You got to stand up. We didn't have cell phones back then. It was just regular phones, right? And but once I got up, it was like, okay, I'm not going back to bed now. But it was a struggle to just get me to go to school. My dad was he was, just on me all the time about getting up for school. That's how bad it was.
Now let's talk a little bit more about being raised by a veteran. I mean, now, was your dad tough on you, or, how was that experience for you growing up, with your dad as a veteran? Now how long did he serve and all that as well?
I don't know exactly how long he served. I know that he was stationed in Denver, Colorado, and they never discovered that he had flat feet, so that he had an honorable discharge, right? It's like, how did they discover that? Hey, Boba, you got no arch in your foot. You got to talk to the commander or something. It's so weird, man. He's already in. Who cares?
Yeah, right.
But so I don't even know how long he served, but he was an MP in Denver, Colorado. But no, he wasn't really tough on me, because I was the youngest of 5 kids, right? I had a brother that was 18 years older than me.
Oh, sheesh.
Then a sister 15 years older. Then it started to go 8 years older, 3 years older, and then me. I'm the baby of the family. So I did get babied. I don't even think my dad ever disciplined me, took a belt and and beat me or whooped me,
I'm sure the one that's 18 years older than you probably has a little bit of a different story, right? You know what I mean?
Yes. He has a different story. He would say all the time, it's like, why aren't you spanking him right now?
Right. Oh yeah, I know, because I got a little bro who was 15 years younger than me, and I would see how my mom was treat him like, whoa, I would have got the belt for that. You know what I mean? Like, little dudes over there
Yeah.
not getting in trouble for nothing. And it's like, hey, all right.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, he had high aspirations for me and stuff. Like, like my dad growing up, he would always say, you're a regular comedian, and little did I know I would be a comedian, right? Maybe he was like prophesying or something, but I got into comedy after podcasting for about 3 years. I had a podcast called the Funny Business Radio Show, and I had comedians on my podcast and stuff. I'd always loved comedy, Brian, but it was like, for me growing up, I was a huge stutterer. I stuttered like really badly. Like
Wow.
in the movie Billy Madison, when that kid's stuttering and Adam Sandler was like, today, Junior. Well, I was the junior. Okay. Stuttering over my words. And I had a huge fear of public speaking, but it is amazing what God can do. If somebody would have prophesied over me, like I'm watching Family Ties. I remember watching Family Ties with Michael J. Fox. A lot of people watch that.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite shows, man.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember the nerdy neighbor, Skippy. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Mark Price. So if somebody would have told me as I'm watching Family Ties, like an aunt or somebody would have said, hey, listen, you're going to be a comedian and you're going to tour with Skippy, I would have said, you're crazy. Okay. First of all, I hate public speaking. I have a huge fear. I'm a stutterer. I don't even know this kid, right? And who knew that later in life I would be on tour with Skippy?
Wild. That is wild.
It's just crazy, man, how life turns out sometimes.
Yeah. So how did life bring you to actually being comedian, and when did you actually to start going and doing it in front of people, and how did you work up the nuts to do it, man?
Yeah, I mean, little by little, God was working that stuff out of me. Like, like I remember being in my church, and I was managing a clothing store called Webster Menswear. It was part of like the Edison Brothers, so they had like Jeans West and J. Riggins and all these stores, right? No experience in clothing whatsoever. The store was like the number one store out of 3,000 different mall stores that they had owned in the country. And people were like, how the heck are you doing that? I'm like, it's got to be God, right? Because I have no experience and stuff like that in clothing. And so one of my pastors had told him the story. He's like, you got to give a testimony. And I'm like, no, man, I cannot. I can't do that. Don't call me out, So I'm in the back of the church. And then he's up on the platform. And our church seats like 600 people. He says, where's Mike Bova? And I'm like, I am scrunched down in my seat. People are like, he's right here. Like, bring him up here. So he brings me up on the platform and he goes, oh, before you give the testimony, we got to do like, announcements and stuff like that. So I literally remember pacing from side to side on that, like literally pacing, going, what am I going to say? I don't know what to say. I'm going to stutter and stuff. So he gets in the microphone and I don't know. I made a couple of comments that were funny and I got people laughing, and then told my testimony. And then when he goes to grab the microphone, I said, I'm not done yet, man. So I think at that point, something started to break inside of me where it's like, I don't have as much fear anymore. I can do this thing. I went to college and did some presentations for my classes. And then just little by little, man, God just worked that out of me. All that fear is gone. If you put me in Ann Arbor Stadium at Michigan University and you put me in front of 114,000 people, I have no fear. None.
Wow.
It's gone. You know what I mean? So
my knees would be buckling, I feel like.
Yeah, I just that all that fear is gone, man. It's just,
that's great.
It's crazy. Yeah. But how I got into it was I was doing a podcast. I started podcasting, I think, in like 2009, somewhere around there. I started a newspaper, and in 2009, the newspaper industry took a huge hit. Thousands of newspapers across the country closed. Many of them downsized, because they're all going online. They're all going on the internet and stuff. And 3 people and myself decided we're going to start a newspaper, right? A weekly newspaper. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. So we were literally one of 2 companies to start a newspaper. And then I got into a podcast. It was called Spotlight on Business. And so the guy was like, oh my God, you guys are having great success. Can I interview you? And I said, yeah, so he interviews me and he said, listen, dude, I'd love to do a podcast with you. We can call it the Funny Business Podcast. I started getting into, just getting into comedy, trying to like book a show and stuff like that. He goes, we'll interview comedians and all this kind of stuff. So I'm interviewing a comedian, and before the show, he's like, he makes a post on Facebook. He says, hey, I'm doing a show in Watertown, New York. I'm like, that's my hometown, dude. He goes, well, do you want to open up for this guy from Last Comic Standing? He was a semifinalist. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'll open up for him. I never told the guy I had never done comedy. Okay. If he would have asked me, he's like, how long you been doing comedy? I would have said, 0. I've never done a show.
So he's thinking you already got a set lined up and everything. And
exactly. So he goes, listen, I want you to co-host, co-headline with him, do a 45-minute set. And I'm thinking 45 minutes, Lord God. You know how people break into comedy, Brian? This is what I tell people. Write 4 or 5 minutes worth of funny stuff. Okay, try to get a laugh at 10 seconds, a laugh at 20 seconds, big laugh at 30 seconds. Okay, and then go do an open mic. Me, I started out unconventionally. I got a paid gig. It's 45 minutes. I'm like, I'm either gonna sink or swim.
45 minutes, dude.
45, man.
Oh my 45. Gosh, bro. I bet that felt like a lifetime. 45 minutes.
Insane, dude. It was insane. I
barely too.
I just had some bullet points, and then I just riffed.
How did you do, man? How was your first experience? You get some tomatoes or what?
I didn't get tomatoes. I got some laughs. I didn't, I wasn't good. I was maybe okay, but and then I had a gig the next night in Messina, New York, with the same guy. But
so he booked you for 2 right off rip, or did he end up booking you after that first one?
Yeah, he booked me for 2 shows right out of the blue. Just booked me for 2 shows.
Now, when you got off, did he say anything to you about it, or?
Well, he wasn't there the first night. He was there the second night. He hosted the second night, so he wasn't there the first night. And then the second night, I just went up to Messina and just did a 30-minute set because he was hosting. He did a 15-minute set. I did 30, and then the headliner did 45.
Man, you went right for the Lions Den right off rip, dude. But I guess you know what? It's kind of a good way to go down, dude. Because I mean, how much harder does it get after doing that? I mean, 45 minutes, dude. Yeah. That's a long time for
for first time. Yeah, no doubt about it. So I just worked on my craft. I just honed it and just worked on it. But before I did that show, I was podcasting and people said, like my friend who got me into podcasting said, dude, he goes, listen, we have 250,000 listeners worldwide. I'm like, that's a huge audience. He said, and he goes, just don't boast about it. Just say, hey, we want to thank our listeners. I mean, we have 250,000 worldwide. So now people, like fans that are watching the show, said you should align yourself with a business, like a charity or something like that. So I had thought like possibly MS Society, multiple sclerosis. I thought about possibly like the American Heart Association or the American Cancer Society. And then one of my friends was like, listen, dude, you shouldn't do any of those because, I don't even know if they're looking for a cure, if they're in bed with the pharmaceutical companies and yada, yada, yada. So, and I love a good conspiracy theory. So I'm like, listen, I don't know if that's true, but I don't know.
Could be a possibility. You never know, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a possibility, right?
Not all conspiracy theories are conspiracies. So,
yeah. So, but somebody had said veterans. And as soon as they said veterans, Brian, it clicked immediately. So I go down to Utica. We have a CNY Veterans Outreach Center. And I talked with this guy there, and I said, Mike, you guys want to do a couple of comedy shows on the weekend? We'll do a fundraisers. I'll bring in like 3 guys from New York City that I know, and we'll do a show, and then we'll pay them, and then all the profit, 100% of the profit will go to you guys. And he's like, yeah. So I booked weekend shows, huge success, and then that was like 13 years ago, and since then, for various organizations, man, I've been doing it ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many shows do you think you've done comedy wise?
Comedy wise, I've done a few hundred shows,
Damn,
so
dude. So are you feeling you're pretty confident now when you go up there? I mean, far swing from when you first started.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I go up there now. Now I do a 90-minute one-man show. I don't even have an opener. Actually, what I do is I get 3 openers, but they're the audience members. So what I do is I do a joke contest, and I say, hey, listen, before we start the show, has anybody ever said that you're a comedian, you're funny, you should be a comedian? I said, I've got $35. I got a $20 bill, a $10 bill, a $5 bill. I need 3 volunteers. Come up and tell your best joke. And the winner by audience applause gets a $20 bill. Second place gets 10, third place gets 5. So I get 3 people to come up and tell a joke. And then we, by audience applause, we determine the winner. And then I tell my joke that I tell. And then I start off with my stand-up. I do about 30 minutes of stand-up. I do 45 minutes of musical parodies. I grab my guitar and sing. And then I do like a couple of my original songs. And then I end it with superheroes, to honor our veterans and troops, because they're all veterans fundraisers. And people sometimes are like, why'd you have to hit us with that song, man? It's like we got teary-eyed and stuff. I said, because I got all the funny out of the way for like 90 minutes. I gave you 90 minutes of laughs. I said, but I got to honor the vets and troops, right? So I said, I got to hit you with that song. And most of the time I'll get a standing ovation. And it's a great show. It's very unique because you get comedy and musical comedy. You get a bunch of parodies, and then you get my original song. So it's a comedy concert is what it is.
Nice. That's awesome. And so do you get a pretty good showing? Do you got now? I mean, you got like a following of like people that like kind of like to regularly see you, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, I do have some people that regularly see me. There was one lady that came to my show in South Carolina, and then she came to my show in Connecticut. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Nice. But I've had people travel 2.5 hours, 5 hours, 2 hours, to see me. And as I try to build my tribe on social media, which is not easy, it almost seems like the world is upside down. It's like people that have no talent, like get all these followers, and people that have talent. I'm like, what is going on? I want to actually do a sketch comedy thing, right?
I feel like a lot of these people that are out there, they just pay money, man. And I think they have a lot of bot followers, dude. Like, I just don't get it. And I feel like the algorithm is against people who are out there legitimately trying to help. Like if you're trying to help with mental health, if you're talking about suicide awareness, you're talking about any of these big topics that a lot of people want to stay away from, you kind of get shadow banned. You know what I mean? And it's kind of a shame, man, because there's a lot of people out there trying to do good things, but they're getting overshadowed by all the negativity, because the negativity shines for whatever freaking reason, man.
It's crazy. Or whether it's upside down. But the sketch piece would go like this. We're sitting around a campfire, and this guy's playing like really bad, and he's singing, and then people are like, oh, isn't he so good? And it shows me like rolling my eyes, and then they're like, oh, we need some more wood on the fire. So I go over, grab his guitar, I smash it, and then throw it into the fire. And I'm like, you're welcome. And I walk away, right? Oh my gosh, man. It's crazy how like talentless people are making it on social media. I just
dude, well, you're right, because it's just people feed their egos, right? Like we live in a world now kind of where people start, I feel like they don't want to offend or something, so we just tell people what they want to hear versus kind of sometimes what the truth may be. Yeah, because sometimes, I mean, there's some people that get the attention. You're just like, how is this, man? You know what I mean? And you're like, I've been struggling for years to get a little following, you know what I mean? Gosh dang, dude.
If I want to offend Brian, so I do a bunch of impressions, right? You heard my Hulk Hogan, brother. So I do a pretty mean Donald Trump, if I do say so myself. So on my TikTok channel, which is at comedian Mike Bova, you can actually get Donald Trump's face, and then when you do the filter, it puts it on your body. Okay, so it's Donald Trump's face, and then I just add the voice. It sounds like this. It's a great impression. So a few weeks ago, he was on TV, and somebody had asked him a question, and he said, "What news agency are you from?" And she said, "CNN." He goes, "Nobody watches CNN. I haven't watched CNN. I haven't watched CNN in years, and nobody watches it." So I did a video, and I said, Yeah, I said, so CNN, it's fake news, fake news. I said, if you want the truth, closest thing to the truth, you got to watch Fox News. You know, my friends Greg Gutfeld, and Jesse, and you know, Bill, love those guys. Sean Hannity, you know, and so I got so many comments from people who just like hated that video. I'm like, first of all, it's comedy. Secondly, just relax, okay? But if I want to offend people, I'll just do like, I'll do a Donald Trump video.
Immediately, yeah, man. I mean, it doesn't matter if you just use his name in the wrong manner, you might be hated.
Yeah.
So,
Fox News, it's beautiful, so beautiful, you know. So yeah,
that's great. Now, in your experience, man, have you ever had some big time hecklers where it interrupts your show type thing? Because you see that happen once in a while where someone has some bad heckler in there, and
yeah,
you know, focus
I
turns
really
on the
haven't.
heckler.
Yeah, I really haven't. Well, I'm 6'2", and I look like I stepped off the set of The Sopranos, so nobody usually messes with me. So I think I'm going to whack them, you know. But I had this one guy. We're at an open mic one time, and there was a bunch of us comedians. We're a part of a group called Pretty Funny People when I first started out in comedy. So the prerequisite was we had to go to an open mic on Wednesday night. So there was a guy there looking like, it's like a Cat Williams looking dude, right? And then he wasn't one of the comedians, but his wife or girlfriend, and she was going to go up and do comedy. So she's sitting like crisscross applesauce. She's like this. I think she's meditating or something, right?
All zenned out.
Yeah. So he's heckling all these comedians, right? So my friend Phil gets up there and he's like standing up. He's in his face. He's heckling him. And Phil's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And it pissed me off, man. So I said to the guy, I go, Ruben, I go, put me on next. He goes, no, you're not till last. I go, put me on next. Okay. I said, just trust me. So he puts me on and I get up there. I said, hey, bro, how you doing, man? He goes, good, man. Good. How you doing? I said, I'm doing okay. I said, I know what you're thinking, right? Mafia's in town. He goes, yeah, I was kind of thinking that. I said, and that's right. I said, one phone call, man, I'm going to make you go away. You know what I'm saying, bro? He didn't heckle another all the whole night. All the comedians were like, yeah, you know, but it's crazy.
Where's the biggest place you've ever, did an act at?
I mean, I've done theaters. I've done, the Paramount Theater in Vermont. I did that with Skippy. I did Rivers Casino for 450 people. I was on tour with Skippy, and then this guy Roger Cabler, who makes himself look like and sounds just like Robin Williams. It's the Robin Williams tribute experience. And then after he gets done with his Robin Williams, tribute, he does like 35 minutes of everybody else. He imitates everybody else: Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. And it was a great time. 450 people is a lot of people at the show, man. You know?
Yeah, no kidding. It is.
Which is pretty cool. So other than that, it's been, by myself, like a couple hundred people, 225, 250, somewhere around there. But I'm working on some of the bigger venues now, VFWs, American Legions. So if you're associated with, a post, whether that's, AMVETS or Marine Corps Leagues, whatever, I'm looking to do like a 300 seat capacity post. It doesn't have to be 300 seats, but what I do is I'll give you the bulk of the ticket sales, 60% of the ticket sales. I take 40%, which means that you got a chance at a $5,000 fundraiser just off the ticket sales, not even including alcohol or beer sales. So I'm looking to get those 300 seaters. I'm doing one in Arnold, Missouri, near St. Louis in September. And so I'm working out that deal with them where normally I would have taken 60%, but I'm being very generous and giving them 60 and taking 40. And that pays my expenses and puts some money in my pocket. And I don't really care about money so much, man. I really, really, really want to help vets. So, my church always preaches be generous, and I want to live generously. So
I love it, man. We'll go ahead and take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're gonna switch it up, and we'll get into more of your music now, and do the music side since we covered the comedian side, and then all right, we'll be right back.
Join us for Hero Stock, a special event dedicated to honoring our veterans and first responders. Experience a day filled with incredible live music performed by those who served and protected our communities. Connect with our nonprofits dedicated to helping our heroes thrive. Discover the services available to support our veterans and first responders in their journey. Bring the whole family. Kids will love the fun activities designed just for them. Reconnect with your community and celebrate the courage and sacrifice of our heroes at Hero Stock. Join us for a day of music, support, and togetherness. Check us out today on www.herostock.org.
All right, and we're back. So Hero Stock this year is going to take place in Ashland, Nebraska, August 22nd and 23rd. It is an amazing event, as you guys had seen. And if you're interested in getting yourself a ticket, their ticket sales are going now. If you're a veteran, you're completely free. It, like I said, it's a great experience, great time to reconnect and great camaraderie with a lot of great people. And now this is a great segue into our next portion, and we'll talk more about your music and how you got into music and how y'all started cycling it into veterans as well. So
sure. Well, Hero Stock looks great, and I would love. I don't know how to get on the bill for next year, but that would be pretty cool to be a part of the music part of it. So how I got into music. So my brother, 18 years older than me, basically my parents said, "Hey, guess what you get to do when you graduate? Watch your little brother." So he was in a band and stuff, and they used to actually practice at our house. So as soon as I could walk, man, I'm a roadie, right? Carrying guitars and stuff like that. You know what you're gonna do when you're a year old? You're gonna walk, but you're gonna tag along with us. And I did, man. I was a roadie and stuff at a very young age. Started playing drums about 3 or 4 years old, and then started playing guitar when I was 7. When I was 9 years old, I had my first band, and my friends like, "You remember in 3rd grade, dude, you had a band?" And I'm like, "Yeah, And the drummer from my in my band, he was 5 years old, drumming like a man. He eventually went on to be the drummer for Kenny Chesney.
wow, okay,
for years. Yeah, pretty cool, right? He went to Nashville and made it. So,
well, damn, being a
always
drummer
loved
at
music.
5 years old, dude, he's probably was kicking ass by the time
He was
teenage years.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable at 5 years old, man. Just unbelievable. So I got into comedy, and then I took a break from music for a while because, like, I read in a musician's magazine. It said if you didn't make it by the time you're 24, you might as well just hang it up. So I remember I was 24 years old. I sold my stuff, and then I gave up music for a while. And then I got into my church, and my church has a worship team and stuff. And then my wife was like, "Oh, my husband plays guitar." And I'm like, "They're like, really?" I'm like, "No, I used to play guitar. I don't play guitar anymore." But started playing guitar at the church, and then slowly started getting back into it, writing some songs and all that. But I never really thought about the parody stuff until, one day I just like, let me try to doing like 6 minutes worth of stuff. And you guys have Dunkin' Donuts near you?
We do.
Okay,
yeah.
So Dunkin' Donuts, I have a conspiracy. Well, I have a theory on why America runs on Dunkin'. Okay, they have a secret ingredient in their coffee. So I took Eric Clapton's Cocaine, and it's if you need a lift, it only takes one sip. Dunkin'. Don't drink it black, 'cause their sugar is crack. Dunkin'. That's no lie, I'm as high as a kite. Dunkin'. And so I
love that, dude.
Yeah, Skippy wrote one of the verses, and he goes, "In the drive-through lane, they'll shoot it right in your vein." Dunkin'. And I tell people all the time, like, do you realize they have liquid sugar there? Well, in the drive-through lane, they'll shoot it right in your vein. So I did Dunkin', and then I did so Tic Tacs, right? Tic Tacs are the magical breath mint. My advice to people is carry Tic Tacs around with you everywhere you go, not for your breath, for the breath of others. Okay. Looney Tunes. The Looney Tunes, there's Pepe Le Pew as he's bouncing through the meadows. Every little breeze seems to whisper Louise, right? The green fog of stench, the flowers wilting. Then he sees a cat. He's like, hello, baby. Come to the cat's boat. So I say, you ever get a close talker at a party? They're like, right here. Hi, how are you? That green fog of stench is coming out of their mouth. You're like, here, Tic Tac. They go, don't they always say the same thing, Brian? They're like, no, thanks, I'm good. No.
Yeah, right. No, for real. It's like you need it.
Yeah, that was not a question. I didn't say Tic Tac. I said Tic Tac, which
just
means
click on this for like 5 seconds and you can spit it out, man. But you need some help.
Oh man, yeah. So I'm like, so I wrote a parody for that. It goes. I said, they're the magical breath mint, less than 2 calories, and I said, and the cool part about it is they fit into a jumbo straw, right? So let's say you're outside. Or you're at a function, whatever, you hide behind a tree or an indoor plant, you're waiting till they laugh at a joke, and then and literally you can spit one out of a straw right into their mouth. I mean, I shot one probably 30 feet at a show,
shit, dude.
And they're like, what was that? It was a Tic Tac. I told you needed. How magical are they?
That's freaking great, dude.
Yeah, they're Disney magic. It's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. When you talk too close to me, your breath is quite atrocious. If you don't back up right now, I'll punch you in the nose. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddle, 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 diddle. It's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. When you talk too close to me, your breath is quite atrocious. Please just take a minute right now, or I'll be comatose. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. 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 Folks, Tic Tacs around you everywhere you go.
I love that shit, dude. That's good.
So
that's great.
I get really creative, man. I mean, the mind of a comedian just works so differently than the regular mind, man. You just
it's awesome too, man. You get to bring another element to it, right? There's a lot of comedians out there that don't have that dual talent where they know how to play the guitar. So you being able to bring that into your comedian world is awesome, dude. You're also getting to play music as well,
right?
I mean, it's not exactly the music you're probably thinking of, but it's still something that you're getting to do, and you're putting both of your arts together.
Right. What I love about what I do, there's a couple of, there's a few escapes from reality, right?
Sure.
Comedy, I tell people all the time, comedy is an escape from reality. And I tell people, like, before the show, I'm like, listen, I give them the ground rules. I'm like, silence your cell phones, use the bathrooms. I've had women tell me after the show that I made them pee a little. I don't want to hear that tonight. Okay. No talking. And I said, this is not Netflix as a joke. This is real live comedy. And I said, the fourth thing is I am not politically correct. And I don't mean politics. I'm going to say some things that might offend a few of you, but at the end of the day, I love everybody, no matter what race, religion, or gender preference. Okay. I said, what comedy is an escape from reality. And so for the next 90 minutes, just close, compartmentalize all that stuff that's in your mind, right? We have a battle between our 2 ears every day, 24/7, and just compartmentalize all that stuff that's going on, whether it's grief, relationship, finances, whatever that is. Open the rest of your mind and just laugh. Okay. Yeah, just laugh.
I love that.
Just for 90 minutes, just forget about all your problems and just laugh. And people have a great time. I've had veterans just out of the armed forces, right? I did a show down in Beaufort, South Carolina, not Beaufort, but Beaufort. Okay. North Carolina says Beaufort, South Carolina says Beaufort. Okay. And shout out to them. So Paris Island and all that good stuff. Actually, the mug that I got was a gift from them. It's this thing keeps your coffee hot for like all day. And there was a guy that came up to me after the show named Josiah, and he said, dude, he shook my hand. He says, I just want to tell you something, man. I've done like 3 tours, overseas. And he said, I needed the laughs tonight, just needed it. And it does something to me, man. It makes my heart feel so good, So I got comedy, and I've got the music, and music is another escape from reality. So I get a chance to like, I wasn't a medical specialist in the military, but I'm kind of if laughter's the best medicine, I'm kind of a medical specialist in a sense where I'm just, making people's ailments feel better, right? Especially their mental anguish and all that stuff, man.
Laugh
So it
is a
does my
great
heart so
medicine,
good.
and it's completely free to laugh.
Yes, it is definitely, So yeah,
that's outstanding, man. And so, yeah. So now talk more about how, do you actually go and perform just music as well, your songs? Or is it just comedian related only?
Yeah, so let me tell you how I got into country music, right? It's like everything is you never know what's going to happen from one day to the next, right? Like I'm an optimist. I never know what doors God's going to open up. I mean, on tour with Skippy from
Did you
Family
like
Guy.
country going into this, or were you more into rock? Because you talked about wanting to be a rock and roll dude. I mean,
yeah, I growing up, I liked classic rock.
sure.
Okay. And as so many of us like classic rock. Then I get into the 80s. 80s was such a great decade because you went from a flock of seagulls, right, to Poison, or
right,
whatever,
yeah,
or even heavier than that, right? So you got everything in between. It's like it's just so whatever type of music you wanted in the 80s, you got. Yeah. Whatever that was, punk rock or whatever.
I loved it, man. Instruments were very, much used, and there, you had, someone for all the instruments and stuff. Now everything's very, electronic, digital, yeah.
Auto-tune. But the 80s was a great decade. People are like, oh, the 70s was the best decade. I think 80s was such a great decade because it was so diverse, right?
Right.
And so then I got into metal, and so country was my least favorite genre growing up, outside of a few songs that were kind of fun, like, Oak Ridge Boys, Elvira, it's like, okay, country was my least favorite genre. But you know what? I kind of equate country music to the feline species, cats. Okay, so I grew up loving dogs. We had dogs. We tried to get a cat one time. We got it on the 4th of July. It was a black cat. We called it Indy. It was for Independence Day. And I'll tell you what, that cat wanted its freedom. The cat busted out of this box we had and took off. And we're like, that cat was so wild. So I'm like, I never really liked cats growing up, but there was a stray cat that was in front of my truck one time, just laying in front of my truck. I'm like, what are you, suicidal, dude? Or you hungry? So I kind of had compassion on this cat, and I fed it. Ended up being our pet and stuff. And I just like, okay, I'm falling in love with cats, and country music is like that, right? It's like cats. It grows on you. So,
true.
You know what? Country music now, Brian, is so mainstream, right? It's so mainstream, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's so popular. So
it is becoming, because they're kind of making it country pop-ish. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's not the old twingy country that a lot of people grew up on. So I think that's why you're seeing it. And then you're having like people that were in different genres, and they're all coming down to country and intertwining their genres with country as well.
Beyonce and all that good stuff. So it's so mainstream now. So my daughters were like, they would listen to it. I'm like, they're like, Dad, can we listen to country? I'm like, yeah. So it just kind of grew on me. But I remember I'm at a show one time in Oneonta, New York, and this guy goes, this kid, not in a bad way, he kind of challenged me, right? He goes, well, he said, you do parodies. Do you have any original songs, funny songs? And I said, I don't. I said, and I always wanted to write one. So a couple of years ago, I wrote a song called Silent But Deadly, about a guy that goes to yoga with his girlfriend, and he gets behind a lady that's pretty gassy. And so I wrote it, and it goes, I'll play a little bit for you. I went to yoga with you because you asked. What happened was unexpected. First downward dog, I'm seeing someone's ass, and all of a sudden she farted. Now I'm holding my breath, trying not to laugh, while everyone's looking at me. They don't know why I'm laughing till I cried, because it was silent but deadly. And I wrote that song. And I'm like, oh my God, it's country, And then I'm like, okay, all right, I can deal with that. And so
You know what I like about them, man, is that you could totally relate to them when you actually visualize it as you're seeing it, because you're not going so fast with it, right? So you're letting the story almost develop in your head as you're like, you can totally visualize that shit going down, dude.
Yeah, for sure. And then I wrote a song, like I saw a friend of mine, and it looked like he was wearing skinny jeans. So the next song I wrote was skinny jeans. And I said to my friend, I go, dude, are those skinny jeans? He goes, no, they're athletic fit. I go, what sport do you play? He's like, he goes, cornhole. I go, cornhole is not a sport. Okay. Shit. So, yeah. So I wrote a song, skinny jeans goes like this. I'll play a little bit for you. Skinny people wear skinny jeans. And the rest of us full-figured people, well, you'll see what I mean. Straight leg, boot cut, relaxed fit. That's so they don't split when you sit. Skinny people wear skinny jeans. So I wrote that song. And then I'm like, okay, I got a couple of originals in both country. It's just, God has a sense of humor, apparently. I said I would never do country music, and I said I would never do comedy either. Like, before I got into comedy, I literally, about 2 months before I got on stage, I said I would never do comedy. And God has a sense of humor, right?
Wow, man.
And then I wrote a song called Stuff Like This.
Say you're never going to be a millionaire
so
now,
like
bro. I mean, you know what I mean?
I am never going to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm never going to be a millionaire. Yeah. I know. People they say it to me all the time, like, okay, just say you're never going to be a millionaire. I'm never going to be a millionaire.
Yeah, right. There you go.
I appreciate that, man. I hope I am a millionaire so I can bless the Stop Soldier Suicide organization. But I wrote a song called Stuff Like This, and it's funny, ironic, right? Like, there's a fly buzzing around you, and you're like to the point now where you're just like so annoyed. You go up, you grab a fly swatter, and guess what? That fly is gone, right? And it's like, where'd he go? Where was he? So it's there's a fly buzzing around me, and it's just so annoying. So I go and grab a fly swatter stat, and he disappears just like that. Doesn't stuff like this happen all the time? And I'm like, okay, country. And so I said, you know what? Let me write a straight up country song and see how it goes. So I wrote a song called Country Music. It's basically the story of my life. And it goes like this. I grew up a rock and roller. Heavy metal was my jam. But now that I'm older, I become a country fan. I love country music, get you screwed. I'm addicted through and through. Country music, if you listen to it, you'll be addicted to. And then I threw a hip-hop hook in there. Yeah, it's true. I love country music too. Yeah, it's true. I'm addicted through and through, right? Kind of appeal to like the kids and all that with the hip-hop hook. And so, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'm a country music artist now. So.
Damn. Nice, dude. So do you have a song that you want to play for us, man? Or is that putting you on the spot? Or is there a...
Yeah, I do. I want to play Superheroes.
Yeah.
I want to play Superheroes.
All right, let's go ahead and do it, man.
I got the merch. I got, Veterans are Superheroes hat, which is pretty cool. My nephew did that design with the leather. And so, I got this catchphrase, Veterans are Superheroes, which you guys are. And so here's the story. Here's how this goes. I was literally sleeping, and I get this melody in my head, okay? And the melody was this. And I woke up. I've never woken up before to write a song with something in my head. It just like happened. So I go downstairs. I didn't have coffee yet or anything. My wife's like, what are you doing? You're like a madman. I said, I got to grab my guitar. I got to figure this out. And I figured it out. Sounds pretty cool. And I honestly felt God, like not in an audible voice, but say to me, this is for veterans and troops. And I said, if that's the case, I need lyrics. So here's the song. Superheroes.
Right, here we go.
They felt it was right, even though they might fight for a country they love, blessed by God above. They joined the Army, the Navy, Air Force, Marines. Then they flew off to basic training. The bravest of the brave, not counting the cost. Some paid the highest price, their lives were lost. Live or die, so we can be free. Not superheroes, but superheroes to me. They worked the jobs, they gave their all, knowing someday they might be called to fight for people on a foreign land. The Middle East, Afghanistan. The bravest of the brave, not counting the cost. Some paid the highest price, their lives were lost. Live or die, so we can be free. Not superheroes, but superheroes to me. When they got home, there was no parade, although one was fitting, given the price that they paid. Often forgotten, let's not forget, these brave men and women, our troops and our vets. The bravest of the brave, not counting the cost. Some paid the highest price, their lives were lost. Live or die, so we can be free. Not superheroes, but superheroes to me. The bravest of the brave, not counting the cost. Some paid the highest price, their lives were lost. Live or die, so we can be free. Not superheroes, but superheroes to me. Not superheroes, but superheroes to me. Not superheroes, but superheroes to me. I want to thank all the veterans that are watching this podcast. Thank you so much for your service. Any troops, love you guys. This is Superheroes. You can listen to it on my website, Country with a K, Kountry Mike. There we go.
Outstanding, brother.
Thank you, man.
So your website is countrymike.com?
Yeah, so it's country. I have to specify now, Brian, because, you know, I said Country Mike with a K, and then someone's like, some smart-ass lady who's like, Country Kike. And I'm like, whoa, with the anti-Semitic remark, you know. I said, now I have to say country with a K, country, and then mike.com. So I have to be very specific now when I say that, so I don't get Country Kike.
Right, did I put it right?
Yes, countrymike.com. Yes, you got it.
All right, perfect. So everybody right down there, KOUNTRYMIKE.com for you that are listening on the audio side, and we'll also put it in the description of the show as well. So
yeah, so you can listen to all my tracks right now on my site for free, and country music right through to right through to Silent but Deadly. I got you with the country stuff. It's a little bit funny. It's a lot of country. Then I ended with on a funny note, Silent but Deadly. But it's a great album. It's getting rave reviews. You know, I've talked to some major producers, Grammy-winning producers, including Andrew Lane, who produced Hannah Montana, and in High School Musical, Mutt Lange, who was Shania Twain's ex. He worked with Shania in AC/DC. Bryan Adams, Def Leppard, and these guys are like, some of your songs have Billboard written all over them, which is a high honor to hear from them, right? So the goal for me is you know, I have Irish Siri on my iPhone, okay? I don't know, like Irish Siri, half the time, Brian, she's drunk, right? She's out at a pub or something like that. So I'll say, like 10 times, hey Siri, and like finally the 10th time she's like, what can I help you with? I'm like, check into rehab, like sober up. And so I said to her, I said, how many veterans are there in America? And she said 18 million. I don't know if that's true. A lot of people say there's more than that, but let's say it's 18 million. If I can get 3%, just 3% of veterans to buy my album, it's over 500,000 copies. It's a gold record, which, can you imagine? Unconventionally, no major producer, no major promoter, my album goes gold. It means $1.6 million to stop soldier suicide. And then it gives me a few million to have, the goal is a national platform for veterans, right? Mike's a household name. Mike's raising money for veterans. I want to give money to Wounded Warrior Project. I want to give money to Tunnels to Towers. I want to give money to the PTSD Foundation of America. I want to give a bunch of money to these organizations because I have such a heart for veterans. I don't want one homeless, hungry. They have no help for the PTSD. They don't have any medical help. They don't have, I just working with that CMI Veterans Outreach Center. And I see a Vietnam veteran one night. He says, can you believe they don't have a bar of soap in their food pantry? I'm going to go without a meal tonight. And I said, no, you're not. I said, I'm going to buy you a meal tonight. But National Grid, our electric companies there trying to work out their bills, their electric bills. Listen, you serve, you get out of the military, you have to be matriculated back into society, which cannot be easy. Okay. So you need a job, you need money, you need a place to stay, you need all these things. And our government doesn't do enough. Our government needs to do way more. I hope I can at some point bend Donald Trump's ear and say our government needs to do way more for veterans. And the VA system is getting better, but it needs work. And all these organizations, the armed forces needs to get with the VFW and the American Legion. They need to say, hey, listen, when a guy gets out of the service, be a member of the VFW, be a member of the American Legion or whatever veteran organization you want, because it's not your father's organization anymore. You go there, people have experienced the same things as you have. They can talk to you. They can get you through. If you need a drink, you get an inexpensive drink, whatever that is, but it's camaraderie. And so no man is an island. No man can stand alone. And I hate that some of these guys are homeless, and it just breaks my heart to hear these stories, man. I don't want that. I want 22 a day to be 0 a day.
Right.
0. Okay.
Yeah.
Literally. And that's why I'm working my tail end off. It's like when I go to shows, I mean, people are like, where's Mike's ass? It's like, he worked it off. Okay. I'm working so hard, man, for this national platform. If I can get veterans to go on my website, countrymike.com, buy my album for $15, buy my merch, Veterans Are Superheroes merch. 20% of every album sale, every merch sale goes to stop soldier suicide. Hopefully, I contacted them today. Hopefully, I'll have a phone meeting with them soon. They're in Durham, North Carolina. I'm looking to come to Durham on tour and speak with them personally with their president. So every day's I'm grinding, man, every day.
Yeah, man. Well, that's good. And you know what? It's amazing. You know, we need a lot more people out there that are willing to do stuff like this, because that's the thing with it. In a lot of people, if you didn't have family members that were veterans, or that you're very familiar with how veterans are, it's very easy just to kind of put them to the wayside. Sure. And just let them live their life, type of mentality. But I think you're right, man. There needs to be a better job with the transition out of the military and finding them another organization to kind of be a part of, right? Because you go from being a part of something all the time to now, boom, you're back into to a world that you're not the exact same person when you left it. And some people don't even like to go back to those worlds because they didn't like it to begin with. Right, exactly. And so now they're trying to figure it out on their own. Right. But as long as we are continuously, there's people out there talking about it, screaming about it. It's important, man, because there is a saying out there. only the squeaky wheel gets
The grease.
the oil, right?
Yeah.
Or the grease. Yeah. And those are the only people that are going to get the attention. So if you're not out there screaming, or if there's not someone out there screaming for these people, being advocates, it could go to the wayside, So I appreciate you, Mike, and I appreciate what you're doing, dude. And I know it's a selfless act, and you're giving up a portion of what your own hard earnings and putting it into organizations that are trying to save our heroes' lives. You know what I mean? And for me, the real heroes, are the ones that put on the uniform and like you said, decide to put their life on the line and sign that dotted line, so to speak. It's but like I said, we know the more that we have people out there like you, nonprofits, other organizations that are trying to help, we could really start making an impact on this. And I think that you got to start at a level that you can handle, and that's in our own communities, right? With the places that we all live and our kids are growing up in.
Right.
And if we can start getting to that level, and then everybody starts looking at, damn, how does that community is amazing. They got some really good stuff. And then everybody starts wanting to be like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. We need model communities. And, this is my philosophy, man. It's like, you guys served, you need to be served now. So we as civilians, man, it's like, we need to do our part to serve you guys and to make sure that you guys are okay. Like, there's an organization in California, in Hollywood. Jay Grossman is the founder of Homeless Not Toothless, and I know it sounds,
no, I've heard of
funny,
it.
but I did a show. I did a show with them. I was going to do a fundraiser, and because it was Coachella was in town. We were going to have it at the American Legion in Hollywood and stuff. We had to reroute the show to the Beverly Hilton. And then Bravo TV took over Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because Dorit Kemsley is one of his board members. William H. Macy was there. Sharon Stone was there. But Jay is a Navy vet. And so he would see some homeless people on the streets, and a lot of them are veterans and stuff, and they're asking for money. He said, I can't do that. But what I can do, if you need dental work, I can at least do dental work for you. His organization, when I did that show in, I think, 2022, his network had raised over $8.5 million in free dental work. So he not only does he serve veterans, but homeless, the impoverished of LA, battered women, foster youth. He does a great work. And so, but I don't want, any veteran to be homeless. Again, homeless and hungry are the two main, but without, their medical, any medical pharmaceuticals that they need, any medicines, and then the VA, again, hopefully they'll help them out. But their PTSD is a huge thing. So there is a PTSD foundation I've raised money for. There is Stop Soldier Suicide. Please consider donating to an organization that will help veterans deal with their PTSD. Like, I know the PTSD Foundation, when I was raising money for them, Chris, who was one of their executives, said, I went through the program. It's a 10-day program. They took me from like, Lord God, I don't know how to deal with this, to like, I can breathe, I can think, my mind is clear, I have a whole new outlook on life in 10 days. Okay. It's $144 a day. It's $1,440 for the 10 days. It's down in Houston, Texas. It's Camp Hope. And so just do, whatever you can donate. I mean, any dollar amount helps. But, if we can just, that's why I want to raise millions to help our veterans. I don't want anybody without access to, like, I can't afford that. Well, it's on the house because somebody donated. You know what I mean? And that's a huge goal for me, man, is everybody has access to help with the PTSD.
And I appreciate that, Mike. I think that everybody out there, we all, money's tight in a lot of people's households, and I get that, absolutely. But you're probably still buying some Starbucks, so maybe one day you skip Starbucks and you donate, your $10 to a great organization out there, because $10 can go a long ways for someone who doesn't have anything. And maybe, if you get 10 people to raise $10, boom, man, you got $100 already. And, you're working towards getting someone help, and like you said, that cost for that was around $1,400, so if we can get enough money to raise where we're paying someone to go get the help, it's going to help our own community. And then it's important that we all try to do what we can when we can. And just let's not forget about the ones out there still struggling daily, and still trying to make it. But Mike, I really appreciate you, brother, coming on and getting to know more about you and all the great things you got going on. Is there any last things that you would like to say before we head out?
Sure.
Things that we maybe didn't share, whatever. This is a great opportunity.
Definitely go to my website, country with a K, countrymike.com. And then, connect with me on Facebook and on the social media platforms, whatever social media platform you're on, TikTok or, Instagram or X or whatever that is. I do have links on my website to my accounts. If you type in, comedian Mike Bova, you'll find some of my, I'm trying to simultaneously build the music part of it with my different accounts. And then, I'm still doing the comedy stuff, whatever, but connect with me. If you're on Facebook, that's the best way to do it. It's just Country with a K, Kountry Mike. You'll see my album in there, and then add me as a friend, chat with me, DM me, whatever that is. I love people. I love, chatting with people, helping people. And that's pretty much it, man. Let's all join together. My hashtag is, Kountry Mike for vets. And then, the twofold mission is I want to help America's veterans, and we want to stop soldier suicide, veteran suicide, and all that stuff. So join the mission and be a part of it, and let's work together to make it 0 a day.
Absolutely. No, that's a fact. We need to make that number go way down and try to get it to be 0. And it just starts little by little, doing what you can. And the way I look at it is if every veteran or someone out there thought about just saving one veteran's life, how many lives can we save?
Oh my Lord.
You know what I mean? So if everybody had that in mind, that I'm going to try to save one person out there today.
Yeah.
Look how many we can save. So let's keep that in mind. And Mike, thank you so much for all that you're doing, brother. Sure. I wish you the very best, and we will try to support you all that I can. And you guys go follow him on all the social media platforms. Go check out his website, countrymike.com. And hey, we hope the best for you, Mike.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you. All right, friends and family. Well, it's going to go ahead and wrap it up for another great one. And, I just wanted to really say something real quick. I know we had a really bad natural disaster in the Texas area. I just want everybody to know that my prayers are with you and your family members out there. We here in California went through the wildfires and stuff like that, so we do know about natural disaster tragedy. I feel for all of you. I send my prayers, and I wish you guys all the best. Everybody out there, I hope you guys are having an amazing 2025. Remember, if you're struggling, you always can call 988. For veterans out there, press 1. It's completely discreet, and maybe they can help you in the direction that can help you where you're, maybe struggling and you don't really want to talk to someone you know. But let's not suffer out there alone, guys. You have friends and family out there. You can always email me. Every day is a Saturday, 365@yahoo.com. As well, if you want to be a guest on the show, we'd love to hear from you. And you know how we say on the show, don't let the day kick your ass. Make sure you're out there kicking it. Until next time, we'll see you guys.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.